And you're right. When they go into Africa or Latin America or Asia, they say, you've got to accept this company running your water supplies. Because we're gonna put additives in it because we care about you. You've got to accept giving your kids these vaccines because we want to take good care of them. We're going to kill them dead in a hammer, but just never mind what happens after we shoot them up. So that's the next level of the diabolical evil, is realizing is that if they're not giving them aid, the aid they're giving them is eugenics, death as well. Go ahead.
It's cultural suicide. We're telling these people, unless you're willing to commit cultural suicide, we won't help you. And, a perfect example of this, and it's just one little tiny grain of sand on the beach, is Haiti. Haiti, as we all know, has been struck by a lot of disasters. It's a very poor country. Many of the things that have happened to it are just a result of where it's located on the globe. They've been hit by hurricanes and tsunamis and all kinds of natural disasters. We have gone into Haiti repeatedly and told them, we'll help, but you have to accept American birth control and population control measures. And if you don't do that, we won't help you. I have talked to people who are missionaries who've gone to Haiti to try to help these poor people. And they say, you can go into clinics there, and I had another guy tell me this exact same thing about countries in Africa. He said, you can go into clinics there, and in many of these places, a clinic is made up of a thatched wall building with no roof and dirt floors, all right? You can go in there. They have no medicines, no bandages, nothing to help deliver a healthy baby, none of that stuff. But you can look over in the corner and see piles and piles of birth control pills and condoms with American flags and USAID on the ends of them. In Haiti today, to give you an example of how profound this problem is, in Haiti today, it's estimated that 90% of the female population in Haiti has access to free birth control supplied by the United States government. But only 20% of the Haitian people have access to clean drinking water. Most of the 80% of the Haitian people get their water out of sewers and out of open pits and out of streams. And
it's all meant to kill them. Instead of going in, educating them, stabilizing the population, the Royal Commission says we're going to let their populations explode as a way to devastate them economically so we can then come in and mop up later with eugenics. I mean, it is just hellish what they're doing.
It is obscene. I mean, it's an obscenity of the first order. And the sad thing about this is that so much of this is done under the guise of compassion that, as you mentioned a moment ago, basically the American people look the other way, and they don't understand what is actually going on in these places. There is no reason for some of these countries in Africa that have large reserves of natural resources for these countries to be poor year in and year out, for generation in and generation out, 100 years consistently being poor. There is no reason for that other than that outside forces are manipulating their economies and manipulating their populations.
Well, it's the economic hitmen that John Perkins talks about. It's on. We have the IMF and World Bank documents. They go in and destroy their economies by design. And, I mean, look at Haiti. A bunch of sugarcane slaves, never allowed to have education. They're hit by hurricanes every year. There's constant CIA coups. And, people say, oh, they're just black. They're not even human. That's why they live in squalor. That is such a wicked cop-out. Meanwhile, the elites are basically putting out rat poison for them to kill their children. And a lot of racist people think, oh, good, this is all being done to whites as well, ladies and gentlemen. We're all under the soft kill eugenics system as well. Stay there, sir. This is very powerful info.
Finally in the news this evening, it's being reported that cyber spies from Russia and China have now penetrated our power grid. Even as energy experts are reporting that each summer we get closer and closer to the limits of our nation's power grid, some say that this summer's demand for electrical power may finally push the grid over its edge, creating a cascade of power outages across the country, putting us all in the dark.
Are you prepared for the next round of storm-related outages or government-created blackouts? Have you ever thought about taking steps to get off the grid and generate your own private supply of electrical power? If so, this will be the most important information you have ever heard. Solar-powered generators are finally available. They have no moving parts to wear out or break and require absolutely no gas whatsoever. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Check out mysolarbackup.com before you lose your power.
Just talking to Mark, and just amazing information at lifedynamics.com. Mark Crutcher. For many years, Mark Crutcher has been an outspoken and uncompromised opponent of abortion. In '86, he created the Life Activist Seminar and trained more than 15,000 pro-life activists all across the United States and Canada. Then in '92, he founded the Life Dynamics, which has since become widely recognized as one of the most innovative and professional pro-life organizations in America. Under Mark's direction, Life Dynamics has done trailblazing research in the abortion industry and developed an extensive litigation support system to help women sue the abortionists who kill, injure, or sexually assault them. Since '92, Life Dynamics has also carried out an aggressive direct mail campaign, and it just goes on from there. Be sure you go to lifedynamics.com. And listen, I've figured out how to approach mainline liberals who think, oh, it's a woman's body, keep the state out of their body. It has nothing to do with that. And when they find out it's about eugenics, and when they find out how evil it is, they wake up. And Mark has agreed to stay with us another 15, 20 minutes the next hour so we can talk about some other subjects, Planned Parenthood, the Nazis, the pedophile rings, all the key info that I've separately verified, not just from his research. So he's a big national leader, so this stuff's well documented, and he's been bringing that out, as he said, for years. But you were telling me during the break about Congress seeing this, members of Congress, and this even waking up people. And I asked, why didn't you put, and maybe you didn't want to get into this because then they'll try to spin it. I said, why didn't you put Obama increasing the abortion funding and eugenics funding in here? And you explained, I think, eloquently why. Do you want to get into that or just move on?
Well, no, but I'm happy to talk about the situation that happened in Congress last week. We had a congressman who had heard about the DVD, called him. We sent him a copy of it. He was just blown away by it, as a lot of people are when they see this information. And he wanted to show it and make it available to members of Congress and their staffs to come watch. So last Thursday, they had a showing for it, and it was extraordinarily well attended. The response that we got was amazing, and people were saying, "Look, we didn't. There's other people that need to see this, and everybody didn't get to come." So they agreed to show it again the next day, on Friday. On Friday, we had representatives of 19 congressmen who are members of the CBC, or the Congressional Black Caucus, send representatives. Now, we knew, and people that were there in the little reception they had beforehand said it was clear from the attitude these people had that they were hostile, that they knew it had something to do with stopping abortion, and it was being sponsored by a guy who was a Republican and a pro-lifer. So they were coming there basically as infiltrators to gather information and even be disruptive, possibly. The anticipation was that they would eat the food during the reception. They'd stay for 10 or 15 minutes of the video and get up and leave. The reality was that at the end of the video, all 19 of them were still there. They clapped. 2 of the women were crying. One woman came up to Pastor Johnny Hunter, who's head of Learn, which is the largest African-American pro-life organization in America. One of these women came up to him and said, "Pastor Hunter, I've got to tell you, I walked into this room with one view." And she said, "I'm leaving with a totally different perspective." And she said, "This thing has changed my life, and I'm going to go back and talk to my congressman."
Well, praise God, because that's the thing. This is so off the chart. If we just expose these eugenicists and how the whole society's built by the robber barons, as you said, to carry this out, game over for them.
Absolutely.
And these average liberals, black women, whatever, they're not bad people. They're programmed, like everybody else from birth, in this matrix-level fraud, and they find out what this is really all about in Margaret Sanger's own words, in Daddy Rockefeller's own words. Then they know the truth, and it sets them free. Back in 70 seconds with our guest. Stay with us. Get the DVD at Infowars.com. LifeDynamics.com. You can get the DVD there, or you can get it at Infowars.com. We have it discounted, in-game discount at half price when you get it with Ma'afa 21, Black Genocide of the 21st Century. Show them this one, and then show them Endgame. We're going to play a clip of Endgame coming up in the next segment. This from Newsreel Films, produced by the robber barons. Rockefeller funding went into this, that were shown to people at free showings and shown to school boards to get the eugenics laws passed to sterilize babies. And it's on record. They wouldn't just come sterilize women. A lot of times they take a baby and put it in a bucket of water. Same thing the communist Chinese do. So it's also the murder of babies that are already born. So this is very, very serious. We hit that break, and you were talking about all these congressional aides waking up, these pro-abortion people coming in and really figuring out that they'd been lied to their whole lives, that this was the genocide of their people, and that they'd thought of it as some sacred Bill of Rights sacrament. You're not going to take my abortion rights away, not knowing it was really Hitlerian.
Not knowing that basically what it was designed to do was to wipe out their culture. That's the bottom line. And you know, one of the things people think we're baying at the moon here a lot of times when we talk about these, as you're calling them, robber barons.
But it's all on record. I mean, they wrote books themselves.
Let me give you one that's if anybody doubts this, they can go study it themselves. It's absolutely true.